when we say food, we are talking about the material with which we build this body. Right now, physically, what we consider as ourselves is essentially a heap of food that we've eaten. So how can we not pay attention to this? Because it is the building material with which we are building this body, and when we build something, we must know towards what purpose we are building it. If you want to build this building, however wonderful the design is, still the material that goes into it makes the difference. So the design may be great, but what kind of material we actually structure this body with makes a whole world of difference. Right now, largely in every culture, people are eating the way they are eating because our fathers and mothers ate that way, our grandfathers and grandmothers ate that way, and it goes back. We need to understand, when they ate that way, they did not have options. Food was about survival. They ate what was locally available, and what they ate on that day became the next day's culture. But today we have come to a place where wherever you are in the world, you're in Doha but you're eating fruit and fresh vegetable which I'm sure 100 years ago nobody ever tasted. So now we have choices. It is time to consider what is it that should go into our system. First of all, what is objective? In the yogic culture, we have this, if you want to be a menial laborer, you want to work 10, 12 hours a day physically, you must eat one way. You want to be an athlete, you want to eat another way. You want to be a warrior, you must eat another way. You want to use your brain, you must eat another way. You want to be loving and nice, you must eat another way. Like this, for different objectives, we eat differently. So bringing a little bit of awareness about this, whatever I say now is not hard and fast do's and don'ts. This is about conducting our life more consciously. Every aspect of our life, whatever we do, if we simply move our hand like this unconsciously, it moves one way. If you move this consciously, it moves another way. If you simply throw words out, it happens one way. If you throw these words out consciously, it happens another way. Similarly, if you simply throw food, it happens one way. If you consciously take it in, it happens another way. So the idea is to bring awareness and consciousness to every aspect of life, including the food, which is an important part. Food may not be, for many people, a deciding factor because their life may not be so precise in requirement, but definitely plays a significant role. For example, taking myself as an example, the level of activity that happens in our day-to-day life, we are 7 days of the week, 365 days working, 20 hours a day at least. For almost 25 years, I managed with only 2.5 hours of average sleep per night. Now I'm getting little lazy and I'm stretching it to 4 hours or sometimes a little more. The choice is this: do you want to live? Have we come here to live and experience life, or are we here to somehow avoid life and die one day? If you're sleeping 8 to 10 hours a day in 24 hours, that means you're effectively sleeping away 45 to 50% of your life. So whether instead of living if you live for 100 years, you're actually awake only for 50 years of your life, which is a sheer waste of life. So this must be very clear. Are we here to experience and know the vibrance of life in its fullest depth and dimension, or are we here to somehow pass it and be done with it? So only if you are concerned about making life happen at its highest possible level, then what you consume becomes an important part of this. There are many ways to look at this in this brief amount of time that we have. It could lead to confusions if I go into very sophisticated way of looking at things to come down to something very simple. If you look at any machine, when I say a machine, we have seen, all of you are deeply engrossed in your cell phones, I'm seeing. Whether you take a cell phone as a simple machine, it's not simple for you. Or you take a car or a computer, whatever, all of it needs some kind of energy to perform. Let's take a car as an example. Suppose you take a petrol-driven car and put diesel into it, it may still manage a little bit, but it will not function at its optimum. In this way, if you look at it, this machine, the human mechanism, is the gadget on the planet. It is the highest and the most sophisticated machine on the planet that we have known. Any number of machines are there, but nothing comparable to this one. This is the most sophisticated machine. We're still not able to figure out a single molecule of DNA as to how it functions. With all our brain, we still can't figure it, that's how complex and sophisticated it is. When you have such a machine, how you conduct it becomes very, very important. It is so subtle, the very way you sit and stand affects the way it functions. Shall we do a little experiment with you? Hello? Shall we do a little experiment with you? If you're willing to sit up with your spine erect, you keep all the five fingers together, that means you must